I really thought Ohio State was going to have this one, man. Going on the road, the noise seemingly was a little too much for them earlier. There were a bunch of false starts. There was a delay of game on a punting situation. The biggest surprise is a passing attack that was a little slow to get going and to hit its rhythm in the first few games. It looked pretty messy against Michigan State. They worked the Ohio State secondary. They completely worked Denzel Burke, who was supposed to be a potential first-round pick, who we've discussed a ton on the show on the first team, or on this channel, rather, on the first team. And Tez Johnson, more specifically Evan Stewart, they bodied him. They could complete any pass that they wanted to in that direction. And Will Stein had the most big balls decision just to say, this guy can't cover. He's supposed to be good. We're just going to keep going after him. He can't keep up with our small, shifty guys. It's too much. And then it all comes down to, Sean, one of the weirdest, bad, terrible final drives that I've ever watched. I have been I have been too realistic on Will Howard, and I've not been given my credit for the level of realism that I have pushed on him. Every time that I've said that he is fine, he's slightly above average, he gets the job done, I have been pushed back as being critical. But what we found out today is that when you ask him to make some big boy throws and some difficult decisions, he makes mistakes. And he also doesn't connect. He's the king of the 5-yard out that gets you short of the sticks. And that whole entire final drive was him playing way too safe and conservatively, to the degree that this man scrambled. He scrambled with 4 seconds left up the middle, not out of bounds, up the middle, and slid. Like that was the best possible decision. Throwing the ball away was a better decision. Total bungling by Ohio State. Talk about a team who blew it.
Yeah, the Ohio State passing game, first off, their design is so weak. And maybe it's because of the limitations of the quarterback. On the final drive, the one time that they do go aggressive downfield when they need it, it's a really good pass and it's a completion. I'm not going to take that away from him. That was a big boy throw. But they limit him maybe because they know that he can't do it consistently. Will Howard to 5 and out. All we did tonight was watch Ohio State's offense go 5 and out, and we saw like 21 combined carries between Henderson and Judkins. Flip that around, pal. That you can't have those two incredible running backs splitting under 25 carries. Gross, disgusting play calling just so we can get 5 yards through the air and not get the run game going. How else were you going to beat a defense? Oregon was going to sit in their zone, grind you out all game, and end up winning. And the Ohio State incompetence at the end, the Will Howard play is twice as gross because on the play prior, Dan Lanning had 12 men on the field with the game on the line out of a timeout. That is negligence, and you let him off the hook for that. You can't have coaches get bailed out because your quarterback decides to slide in the middle of the field and has no awareness of the clock when it's going through his head. You had 6 seconds, Howard. You had 6 seconds. 1,000, 2 1,000. I don't have a decision yet. Throw it away. You have a timeout in your pocket. Throw it the hell away. Now, Oregon's offense did really well. Dylan Gabriel, welcome to the party. You showed up in a big way, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns throwing, and 1 on the ground. The rushing touchdown was great. So Oregon play was really legit. This was a great game all in all. But the last sequence leaves both sides of fans with a very bitter taste in their mouth because they know that they both got away with one.
2 things here with Ohio State. One, this is going to bother Oregon fans. It's a cliche that's brought up a lot and one that we bring up on this show a lot. It's hard to beat a good team twice. So this might be to Ohio State's benefit that when they're both going to play each other in the Big Ten championship game. This is set up the trajectory for that to happen. The way that Penn State played today, which we're going to get to in a second, does not reflect that they're going to be in that Big Ten conversation. But if they end up facing off with one another, Ohio State does have that benefit of the doubt. I'm not ready to do the total panic meter, yell about, hey, Ryan Day's cooked. He can't win the big games. There's still a lot of the season left. The playoff is still right around the corner. If there's somebody that's going to go on an unexpected, ridiculous playoff run after winning the Big Ten championship game to win a national title, it's Ryan Day. But I got to give and spend the time here giving the flowers to Dan Lanning, who had been questioned if he could win the big game. That was one thing that was brought up a ton last year. He has faltered significantly as a young head coach in his first seasons coaching in college football, where especially last year, he couldn't beat Washington on the road, and then he couldn't beat Washington in the Pac-12 championship game when it was an expectation where he was supposed to get back in the circumstance and the metaphorical math that I just brought up a second ago, or the hypothetical math that I just brought up a second ago. Him to get this game is huge for his development as a coach and his steps forward and his progression into being one of the brightest minds in the game. I think that he has proven that this Oregon team right now deserves to be number one. But here's one thing, though, that I think is clear. That number one crowning does not mean anything because it can change on a week-to-week basis. It continues to remind us of 2007, where I think the number one spot changed hands continuously. So Oregon has to finish the season strong, and they can't have any missteps.
I leave both of these teams in the top 5. It was overwhelmingly, we're nitpicking a lot. That's what we do on the show. It was a great game. It was a great matchup. Both teams met the occasion. I still have Texas as my clear number one through this week. I know this is a massive game.
Oregon has right now the best resume. They beat the best G5 team and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I gotcha. Texas's dismantling today was too impressive for me.
What? Okay, we got to talk about that because I wasn't really super impressed. I think that they beat up on a team with a freshman quarterback and Quinn Ewers was rusty as shit.
Yeah, I think he was semi-good today. He was fine,
okay.
but the defense. Okay, regardless, they're both. I'm not knocking either of these teams or overreacting to them falling or being a team that can't get it done. It was exciting football. Both teams played well, and it was a good drama-filled game. That's what we want as fans. We want a lot of conversation afterwards about a Jeremiah Smith offensive pass interference, which was clearly an offensive pass interference. Ohio State fans, get over yourselves. You know you're being overreactionary. You know you're just looking for something to complain about. You lost the game fair and square. Blame it on your quarterback. Blame it on your coach. Jeremiah Smith pushed off. I'm not dropping either of these teams. If anything, I would flip them. Oregon 2, Ohio State 3.